I'm going to be giving you the best settings for Season 2 of Chapter 4. These settings will help you get wins and kills with all the new items and weapons added. But before I give you these settings, make sure to use code CODIUM when buying this crazy battle pass with honestly some of the coolest skins we've seen in a while. It literally takes 5 seconds and I think it's a worthwhile trade to get these insane settings. With that being said, let's move on to page 1 of these new settings. So firstly, we're on the video and the graphics settings, and the graphics in this new season are actually one of a kind. The new Mega City honestly looks so cool. So to get the most out of this cool new look, make sure you have brightness at 125% with your colorblind mode on try to note and the colorblind strength on 7. So now on advanced graphics, make sure you have show FPS as off and power saving mode as off. These settings, especially power saving mode, can really hinder your delay and stop you from getting some of the best FPS possible. So now on the second page, which is the game settings, in my opinion this is probably the most overlooked page of settings possible. Firstly, I play on Europe, so my matchmakers on Europe. If you're on NA East, you have to set it to NA East, etc, etc. Obviously, if you have a sprint build, I would definitely recommend having toggle sprinters on, but I personally don't, so it doesn't really affect me as much. I like to have auto open doors on because it's one less thing that you have to worry about when playing the game. Mantle activation, make sure it's on hold jump so that you would basically have to double press B to go and mantle, which I believe is the automatic one and the one that everyone should have on. So now for combat, hold to swap pickup I have on, toggle targeting I have off, mark danger when targeting I do have on, auto pickup weapons I have on, and preferred item slots, I'll run through them in a second, but I don't have auto swap consumables to the right, only because of these preferred item slots. You can see that I preferred item slots is on with my shotgun in slot 1, SMG in slot 2, consumable item in slot 3, sniper slash bow, and in slot 5 I have assault rifle. This is the building settings. These are my more controversial settings. Most people don't agree with me with this, but I've confirmed edit and release is off, and then all these other settings is on. All these other settings being on is fine. Turbo building, disable pre-edit option, and reset building choice, that's all good, but confirm edit and release, not many people agree with me when I say turn this off. If you're a beginner, don't turn this off because it is very, very complicated to learn, but once you learn it, it is amazing and you can edit so much faster. Because basically with confirm edit and release on, the edit speed is stuck at a certain time. But if you have it off, you can actually edit faster than this certain time, and means you have complete control over your game. And obviously this only works because of a certain setting that I have on, which is here in my edit controls. You can see I have reset on ZL and confirm on L. Basically this confirm on L is the alternative for confirm edit and release, and obviously I have select on ZR. So contextual tips I have off, and then these last few, make sure you just keep off invert view, and all of these don't really matter. Tap search to interact I guess have on, and report performance stats have off, and then these last two I'm pretty sure don't matter. It just shows you what your game looks like, and obviously the game looks amazing right now, especially for Switch. You'd never expect it to look this good. I finally understood the reticle settings. It only took me about 3 months to find it out. Reticle, make sure this is on. Reticle ammo indicator have on. Damage numbers, have it on cumulative. Basically this means all of your damage is going to add up, which I guess helps you understand how much HP an enemy has left. Reticle damage feedback, I've hit on icons on, and my damage number scales I only have it at 100%. I would go lower and I probably should, but I just leave it at 100% because I always want to make sure I know how much damage I'm doing. So now, HUD options. HUD scale, I always have this at 80%. I would recommend having it lower, at 60 to 70%, but 80%, it's all good. 60 to 70% is fine. 80% is so that you can still see it. Obviously, I'm sure having it as low as possible is probably the best for FPS and for the looks of the game, but I just have it on 80% because personal preference. Show spectator count off, player health on. Just copy all of these down. But then you can see I've got quest progress, net debug stats, which I think is just your ping. I would recommend having this off. I have it on, but if just for you, have it off. Unless you're recording and you want to show your ping, or you want to show it to your mates to prove that you're lagging when you die. Other than them reasons, turn off net debug stats. So now we're on the touch and motion settings, and I can't lie, motion controls recently have been really, really complicated, but these settings are the best and simplest ones that I could find. So firstly, for active mode combat, have this on always, and active mode building, have this on always, so that you're always using gyro controls. Make sure you don't have the look stick effects, and your sensitivity is on 1.4. I think having a sensitivity of 1.4 can balance good aim with good and fast mechs as well. Also, make sure your vertical to horizontal ratio is even. I don't have steadying because I want to be able to have full control over my controller. Beautiful controller, by the way. Acceleration, make sure this is on legacy so it feels like the old settings that you used to have. Flick stick I have off, don't like it. Advanced gyro options, obviously I have this on, and now we're going to run through all of the advanced settings. So scoped multiplier at 1.8, aiming multiplier at 1.0, harvesting and building and editing multiplier, all of them at 1.2. Zoom scale sensitivity is a very underrated one. Basically, if you're using a sniper with motion controls, the more you zoom in, so for example with an AR it will be slightly slower, but then with a sniper, when you aim in, it will be a lot slower than what it would be like with, for example, a pump shotgun. All of these, handheld gyrospace, controller gyrospace, both of these on player, and then the yaw axis, roll axis, and pitch axis direction should all be on standard. Smoothing threshold may seem like something you don't want to have on so that you have full control, but it also allows your free building and everything that you do on gyro to be a bit more precise, which is where the smoothing window is at 0.110 seconds. Basically, the reason this is so low is because if you have it on the completely other end at like 2.50 or something, or anything above that, it literally leads to more laggier movements, which you don't want, can I just say. So now, tightening threshold, I thought, oh, you don't want to have the tightening threshold on at all. But then I got told you actually want to have this on like the highest possible, which is 50. Basically, this just steadies out your aim so that you're not like shaking when you're on the controller. Dead zone at 0 and filter controller vibration and off. That, I think those two make sense. And the gyro button hold time. I don't really understand this, but I have these two on disabled gyro, the buttons X and Y, which basically means that these like last bits of the advanced gyro options don't really matter. So before I give you any more of these settings, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel, because with less and less Switch creators uploading, it is good to subscribe to one who will be uploading throughout this new season. In all of my settings videos ever, only 1 in 100 people subscribe. So maybe you could try and change that number up a bit, or be that one person out of 100 to subscribe. But with that being said, with enough me advertising you to subscribe to this channel, I'm going to give you what you're here for, which is the settings. So now onto the controller options, undoubtedly one of the most important settings. First setting, controller auto run, obviously have this one on, alongside build immediately or build a pro, obviously have this one on too. So have edit hold time on 0.250. Basically, I have edit hold time on 0.250 because basically, if you can do this one thing in your settings, so when you're in your combat controls, basically set one of your D-pad buttons to switch mode / edit. Obviously, I have my edit button on X because I use claw, but if you don't use claw, then I'm also going to give you some settings for non-claw users. And then I have switch mode on A, so I have 3 different buttons for edit. So I have switch mode / edit on this right D-pad, switch mode on A, and edit on X. And if I have these 3 all set on different ones, and I put my edit hold time to 0.250, it basically cuts out all edit hold time and means you can edit instantly. Slide hold time, I have this on 0.115, so you can never really accidentally slide, but when you do, like, it will always work. Reset camera axis, I have this on yaw, I don't really understand this one too much, and my reset camera time is on 0.1 seconds. I recommend you to have vibration off because it removes delay from your controller. So now on to sensitivity, I have a look sensitivity at 7, which is quite fast, but then my ADS at 3, which is quite slow. So build mode, sensitivity and multiplier, I've just slightly brought these up because this new season I want to be editing and moving and aiming a bit faster. So for my edit mode sensitivity I've got 1.7 and my build mode sensitivity I've got 1.9. And then naturally I have to have my advanced options on, where you can see I've got a look horizontal speed of 37%, a look vertical speed of 37%, a turning horizontal boost of 2%, a turning vertical boost of 2%, and then 0% boost turning ramp time. However, I do have an instant boost when building, and my ADS look horizontal and vertical speed are both 8, and then the rest of these boosts are off, but don't get me wrong, I have it on exponential. I'm an exponential guy. You personally can use linear, however for aiming and building and editing, literally everything, for me at least, exponential is better. My aim assist strength is at 99% because sometimes when you're at 100% your aim assist can literally just leave. So you might as well have it at 99% so it always works, at least that's my theory of it. However, 100% obviously you can have it at this. I just have it at 99% because I prefer it like that. So now my left stick dead zone is at 5% and my right stick dead zone is at 30%. I used to think because I drift I would have to turn this right stick dead zone up, and you do. However, I've just came into terms that having a right stick dead zone that's higher than your left stick dead zone, if it's even if it's only 5 to 10%, actually does help a lot. I have mine at 30% because I move more with my right thumb than my left thumb for some reason, so that's why it's just slightly over. And I also never, ever get Joy-Con drift. Accelerate vehicles with thumb... Accelerate vehicles with thumbstick, I do have this on, and steer tank with camera gamepad, I have this on. So in the last video, lots of people got confused by claw and non-claw settings, and I just said change them, but I was never really direct. So this time I'm giving you 2 different settings. So first I'm going to give you the non-claw settings, and then I'm going to give you the claw settings. So these are the beginner non-claw settings. The only difference is that the X will be for toggle pickaxe, and the L3 bind, which is just basically pressing down on this button right here, which is for your left hand, that is on edit. Obviously you can have your edit mode on like A, which some people do, but then you're playing motion and then that's a bit different. But in terms of actual beginners and you're editing with L stick, I would definitely just literally keep it at this, and then obviously you can go through and you can see, and if you want to copy these down, you can copy these down, but it's going to be pretty similar to the more advanced claw settings. I would recommend, if you're editing with L, to have a slightly higher dead zone for your left thing, for your left analog stick, because if you press on this to edit and you press like that, and it could slightly move to the left or right, if you have that slight higher dead zone on your left stick, it won't really like wobble your character as much. So now, alright, so for the claw settings, I basically want you to copy down everything that I have on, because in my opinion, these are the best settings for claw. So we've got sprint, oh, far out. So now the main ones is edit on X, and we've got toggle pickaxe over here on L3. I know most people have jump on L3, however, I've got jump on B, which is obviously for claw. You're clawing your finger, bam, press B. My switch mode is A, next weapon, and attack. You know, these are like pretty standard settings, except for the fact that X is edit and L is toggle pickaxe. Those two are normally like switched around. But this is claw, so it's different. So now for the build controls, you can see basically the same thing. We've got inventory, change material, trap, switch mode / edit, and place. Like these, like, I don't use claw on my left because otherwise, like, oh Christ almighty. I don't use claw on my left because otherwise, obviously, you know, I literally can't with the switch controller. But then the most important ones, obviously this right side, because this is the side where I can use claw. Obviously I have paddles as well. I wish I would learn paddles for once, but I don't. This is the claw, and then you can see you can use all four of them now. So that's why I've got edit on X, trap picker, switch mode, jump, and then just copy these. Obviously reset on ZL, confirm on L, select on ZR, normal stuff. Mobility controls like this. Basically just copy these down, like that's all simple. And also if you want to remove your dead zones, then basically take your switch out the dock and press on the reset button. But with that being said, let's move on to the final section. Alright, I said these settings were simple, but now I'm looking through them. There is one thing, possibly one thing that you can actually do to record on Switch without a capture card. And I'll probably run through this in greater detail, but it's this post-party setting. Look, literally read it. It says the post-party app lets you record for 30-second clips of gameplay and share them with your friends. Does that not mean you can record on Nintendo Switch? Right, I'm getting gassed. I will cover that in another video because I know that was a big setting that came out ages ago. But it's an option. Public game stats I have off. These ones, I have all of these off. Wow, I'm harsh. But yeah, off. And player surveys I have off. Now that was it for the rundown of these settings that I'm going to be using. So that was it, the rundown for these settings for the new season, all these new guns, etc, etc. The katana looks amazing, I'm so excited to play with it. And I'll definitely try and get some arena gameplay out as soon as possible. But obviously, for me giving you these settings, I would like to ask for a subscribe. But obviously, because I've given you these settings, a sub would be greatly appreciated. I believe less than 1% of the people who watch my videos actually subscribe. And if you're still watching, you probably enjoy the video, so I would recommend subscribing. Because I'm finally going to return to uploading a lot more this season. And with that being said, have a good rest of your day. Check out the video in the middle of the screen. It's me testing out a pro player's settings, which is also, you know, if you want to develop your settings to become professional, or not professional, but really good, check out that video too. And with that being said, have a good rest of your day. Peace. Mean skin fade.